We're gonna go ahead and start our work session tonight at 5 p.m. Gonna ask Pastor B, would you mind opening us up in prayer today?
Father God, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come together and do business by our city this evening. Father, I pray that your hand be involved in every decision that is made. Lord, I pray for guidance for our mayor, for our city council, and Father, for each one that would come before them this evening. Pray your way would be heard. Pray this in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor B. All right, before we get started, we do have the table set up for all of our department heads, so that you guys can have a seat. We really do appreciate you taking out the time to come out. I know after you're off, you probably say we ask a lot of you guys, so we do appreciate you. So if there's anybody who's here that's a department head or a director, would you please come up and take your seat? And if you're here on behalf of your department head or your director, could you please come up to make sure if you guys have anything to add during these work sessions that you are heard. I think that's everybody. Okay. So we'll get into the work session. Number one on the work session, discussion that is necessary by Mike Brewer, East Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission regarding a citywide redistricting plan. If I can read tonight, I know, messing up on my first thing. Hopefully I'll survive the rest of the night. How are you doing tonight, Mr. Brewer?
I'm good. Good. How much time do I have?
It's okay, we're being paid to be here, go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to be as quick as I can. Yeah, I just wanted to come down and introduce myself and kind of give you the kind of basics of redistricting. Most cities that we deal with, have not, most of the council people have not ever dealt with redistricting before. So it's good to come down and go over the basics. I've been with the commission for a little over 20 years. So this is my third time going through the redistricting cycle. So I'm kind of familiar with the mapping side of things. This is something, yes, it's done after every census count, every 10 years. Of course, our last census count was in 2020. A lot of that stuff got delayed because of COVID, similar to the elections. It got pushed back because of COVID and everything. So, but it's good that we're doing this, and we're kind of a little bit on the time crunch. But I'll go over that a little bit more in just a little bit. But this is something stipulated by the Code of Alabama. And it's mostly, and of course, Voting Rights Act is involved as well, but this is mostly just to make sure that each district is represented by the same amount of people. One person in one district has kind of the same weight or value as the vote in another district. When going through this, of course, this is using census data, census blocks. I'll go ahead and go over this part. Redistricting is not really moving the boundaries house by house, just going in and choosing house. It's done by census blocks. A census block is similar to a city block. It's an area that is bounded by a road. Census also uses railroads or streams. So you have your polygons there. And the Census Department tabulates the total population within that. We're not moving house by house, we're moving census blocks, assigning census blocks to different districts. Yes, in downtown, that's kind of how it works. When you get away from town, that's where it gets a little, we'll go over this more, but a census block can be very large because you'll have cul-de-sacs that may not end in certain areas. When you get away from town, it gets a little bit more complicated. But one thing about redistricting, we do not want to move you guys out of your district. So redistricting of incumbents, what we're going to try to avoid there. We're going to assume that everyone's running again. So I already have your home addresses in our mapping software. So when we get to that point, we know we'll try our best not to have you run against each other.
So how does, who decides this, or do y'all just do this based off of people voting, or how does this come about?
This is just, it's not registered voters, it's not voting age, it's just total population. And so what I did, I took your existing, I think 2012 adopted map. I took it and married it to the current census data set. And so if you look at the sheet that's been handed out, you see a table right there in the middle. That's how each district, when I assigned all of those census blocks, that's how each district came out as far as their total population, based on your current boundaries to the new numbers, of course, you can see for each target, each district has a target population, and that's just the total population of the city divided by 5. So you're looking at what, 12,578 divided by 5. You're looking at 2,516 people that we're going to try to get close. Now, the Code of Alabama gives us plus or minus 5%. We don't have to be exactly right there on the target. We can have a little bit up or minus as far as the total population figures go. And that's around 125 people, I think. We can be below 525 people or above. And if you look at that table, you can look and see, districts 2, 3, and 4, if you look kind of in the middle where deviation percentage, DEV percentage, 2, 3, and 4 are actually within that plus or minus 5%. That's not bad at all. That's very good.
So you're gonna leave number 3 alone, right?
Well, I would like to say that. That's the best one we've got right now, but I would like to say that. But when you start moving population out of one district, as you shift one, it affects other districts.
I understand.
So there's going to be some back and forth, some give and take a little bit. District 1 needs to lose a good bit of population. That's your largest, or the one furthest away from your target. There at 11.5%. So moving, kind of shrinking District 1 down a little bit, moving some of that population out of there into those other districts. Everyone would just kind of have to shift that way just a touch. So there's some give and take there. District 5, of course, needs to gain some population.
When you look at this, do you also look at projected growth in areas so you don't move something that you might have to undo 10 years later?
You pretty much, in my experience, you pretty much just go as what the numbers are currently. But yeah, if you, like say, there's a large subdivision about to go in, that may be putting in right now, though that's not reflected on the current numbers, but in 10 years, yes, it could be. So you can leave maybe that district that would fall in, you can maybe leave it maybe at minus 2%, minus 3%, maybe below the target deviation, maybe to account. So next time in 10 years, you don't have to move, quite as much of your districts. So certainly, that's something, but you still need to be inside that plus or minus 5%. So, and kind of the process going about it, with larger cities like you guys, compared to some of our other cities in East Alabama, a lot of times I like to do one-on-one meetings with mayor and council, maybe 2-on-1, something like that, to kind of sit down with the laptop. I have my laptop and we'll have a TV screen somewhere or a projector. We'll be able to view it on the screen and with our mapping software and kind of go through the process of moving those census blocks, moving the boundaries, so you can see in real time what one move affects different districts, things like that. That's kind of the process. We kind of go just individually, and the way this will be a mayor proposal with your form of government. This is a mayor proposal, and then the council can accept that proposal. We're under a little bit, typically they would have about 6 months to come up with their own, the council, come up with disapprove or come up with their own, or they could do nothing, and then after 6 months, it would become adopted. But we're kind of under a time crunch. The election next time is August, I believe. So 6 months before August when we have to be done. So that's in February, so I would love to not even get into February. I would love to not even get into January, really. That's in order to kind of give get everything settled and get everything to the board of registrars to make sure they're squared away with having the ballots correct.
So when should this have already been done? I know you said COVID shifted everything, so what was the original deadline?
It could have been, I think we had some start up in 2019, 22. We had a few in 22. We had a good many last year, and we've had a good many this year.
Oh, so we're just basically playing catch up.
A little bit, but I have 5 going on right now. You're not alone. You're definitely not alone. So we have 5.
I have a question. Okay, I had multiple properties annexed into my district since the census was done. Are those considered in the overall number as well?
Those would be based on the way things stood back
Okay.
in 2020 with the census county.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're just kind of stuck with what the numbers were then.
Gotcha.
Now, and just popped in my head, and we'll talk about this more, but Mayor, the BAS survey from the census, that's the boundary and annexation survey stuff. Make sure we stay on top of that for the next election, because that makes our annexations, the census map makes it up to date and allows your total population to be more accurate. So that'll be helpful for the next time. Trying to think what I'm going to cover. Another consideration is minority representation. Looking at the numbers, looks like District 2 has, if you look all the way on the far right, has a black percentage of 59.92. That's good. That typically in the past, the Department of Justice liked around 60 to 80%. That's kind of like the sweet spot for districts. So I would love, yes, technically 51% is a majority, but I would love to stay up there around that 60% mark. I don't know if it'll have to drop because you don't know what the population is in those census blocks next year. I can't just jump into another district and move. Everything has to be contiguous when you're moving boundaries.
So will
But
race play a factor in it?
race does play a little bit of factor. It's not the main factor. Total population is the main thing, but minority representation, that is a consideration. But no, that's not the driving force, but yes. Yeah, we need to pay attention. So I'd love to be able to keep that up there where it is right now. That would be ideal. Any other questions?
And you guys have any other questions?
Yes.
So it's funny, we did this in 2012, and was here in District 1, it was highly populated then.
Really?
And we went all the way down to 10th Street, because all the way back up to the north end of Lucille Lane, you know. So it looks like it's gonna take a bit
So
more.
it's going to take some more, yeah, it's going to have to
You gotta
be.
go to the east side and bring some of that over to it.
Yeah, and I was looking at it, the last few days I've been looking at it. We'll be able to work through it, but there are some difficulties
Like I
with
said, the boundaries will take
with
care of
getting
it.
into District 1 because there are some large census blocks that have, because you just move one block at a time, there's some large census blocks that have 300, 400, 500 people because it's just kind of rural on the outside. So it's going to be a little difficult in some of that, but I've played around with some. I think we can come up with some good solutions. So I'm optimistic.
What's your timetable for us?
I would love to, of course, I know the holidays in December is going to be hard to get human together, but I would love to be done by middle of December. I would like to be able to, of course, get with Ms. Lambert and Nicole and maybe get some meetings set up with you guys to quickly go over this and get kind of, it might not be exactly what we go over with each one of you, there may, but we'll get your ideas, your thoughts, because also you know your city as well. I mean, I don't know your city, but you know your city. If there's a community of interest that that needs to kind of stay together in an area that's a state, we may not need to split those up. You guys would know that type of information. But yes, I would hope through November. I would hope that all of our meetings would kind of be done. And get with the mayor, come up with maybe a draft, and go from there. That's being optimistic, but definitely by the end of January. Definitely.
Well, I guess, since you'll be coordinating with Nicole and Alex, y'all can just keep us updated and on what your schedule looks like, and maybe we can meet, two and two, just to make it a little easier for you, and just try to get everything knocked out.
Sure, and I'm glad it's whatever works with you guys.
Well, thank you so much. I guess we'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, number 2 on the work session agenda, discussion that is necessary by Michael Rice Engineering and Environmental and Forestry Services Company, PC, EEFS Company, PC, to obtain professional engineering services for paving along various streets throughout the city approved by the mayor and city council as outlined in the attached Exhibit A project, Task Phase 1 Design Plan Preparation and Bid Procedure totaling $149,000, 5.5% of estimated construction cost, $2,710,000, $2,710,139.09. Project Task Phase 2 Construction Engineering and Inspection CE&I Services, 9% of construction contract amount. Hey, Michael, how are you tonight?
I'm well. How are y'all?
Good. This is exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's exciting. We got to do this a few years back, and it's always good to be back and have the opportunity to do it again. So
I know, I think, what was it, 2017, 18?
I think they started in 17, but I think they were paved in 18. So, yes, ma'am. So, Mayor, Council, you guys have the list of, I think, 38 streets. I think over the last 2 years, we've pulled kind of this information together with Reed and through some of his recommendations of areas where this is for asphalt paving. If you look at the linear footage, it's 49,785 feet. So that's 9.5 street miles. You know, if you do by lane miles, you would pretty much double that. Most of these streets are 2-lane streets. Some of the difference on the previous paving, there were some very high volume streets done in 2017, 2018. This has, you know, a lot more streets that are in residential areas. So there's probably going to be more lane miles done because the roads aren't as wide. So that's it. That's an overview of, and that Exhibit A is the ones that are being proposed. I don't know if you guys have it. I sent kind of a timeline for the project. I don't know if that was in y'all's package.
It was on the tablet, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
I can pass this along if you would like. So first thing, kind of just lay it out for y'all, and y'all can stop me at any time. The first thing we do is kind of, if the street list is approved, send it to the utility board, because what we see a lot is I hate for all the, you know, some of these streets to be paved, and the utility board or AT&T or any of those folks that the city permits things in their right of way with come back and just start cutting on a brand new street.
I got a question, that happened last time, so what kind of, like, what do we have in place to where if that happens again, we can hold them accountable? Because that did happen last time. And I know I was very upset about a few streets, especially after we sent that out. And then once we paid, they came back and started digging holes in the streets. So do we have any sort of, you know, something to put that liability on them to where we can charge them an amount to where they, not really, I think you told me that the last time, Mayor.
They have helped us by removing the gas from the lines and the water, moving them into the right of ways. But they still have the sewage in that area.
But still though, but if they dig it up after we pave it, they do have to put it back the way it was, right?
So, I mean, a lot of cities have franchise agreements, so I don't really know what the city and the utility board's agreement looks like, but put it back to the pre-construction condition or close to it. You know, so getting a good firm patch that'll hold in there is always good.
Well, the key is to urge them though to find any work they need to do before we start. And
That's the big
make
thing.
it,
If they have any big main replacements or, you know, hey, we know we're replacing the water line throughout this whole corridor, well, if we can get it before we pay, we need to get it. If we move it outside the road or whatever, you know.
But I know we appreciate our utility board, don't get me wrong, but we do want to encourage them to do it first because, you know, that brand new.
Especially the ones they know about that they're gonna have to do.
Yeah, if they have some kind of, you know, maintenance upgrade plan or known facilities improvement plan, I'm sure they do. If any of these streets that if y'all approve are on there, it would be nice to work together say, hey, can you work on these first before we, get going on this page?
Is that something you'd reach out and ask Reed, or Mayor Hyde will do that?
We'll take care of it. We'll meet-
Okay, good.
Yeah, and what we do is we have some Google Earth or K&Z files, so we can send those to the utility board, they can bring them in on their system and just kind of look. If they look at them on their computer and say, hey, we know we're upgrading this line and this road's affected, maybe we'll work with them and either if we know it's gonna be done the next year or two, we can just maybe pull that street all together and come back to you guys and say, hey, we really need to wait till they get their work done before we spend, whatever amount of money on this street.
I got a question for Reed, if that's okay, Michael. So Reed, is this every, street that was on our list, or this just where we cut it off based on the dollar amount? How many streets were left off of this list?
That's all strictly okay.
So this, everything like we talked about trying up into this process?
Until the last month.
Wow, that's good.
Because there's a couple of minor, Sarah Lynn and Bolton is not on here.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we talked about that
Yeah, it's
a
been,
month ago.
yeah.
There, we could add.
But I know we can't, but we can't add over a certain amount too, though. We can't, I think it's what, $4 million? What is that?
As far as the bond goes, or as far as like
I think it's
state
the
bid?
fund. I think it's a certain percentage of the fund we can only spend. I don't know if Walter knows, but I think it's a certain percentage that we can only spend in fund on it.
But you got that payment money set aside from the airport.
Yeah. Let's just make sure this list is including everything. And Lord, you said it was 2 streets on here?
Yeah, it's Sarah Lynn and Bolton.
Because we'll have to approve it. To be honest, I can't even see this list. I'm gonna have to blow it up.
All the way up till tonight, I get call after call after the bad street, that street, and I just go back and add one. And have it prepared for tonight.
So what are you recommending? Just go with what you suggest we do?
I think we need to.
Just go with the list we got?
Satisfy that list, and we'll come and got that.
And then add the alternates.
Right.
Okay.
And, there's always tonnage overage. We'll never run into like.
Yeah, so last time what we did, I think we had our original list and we were able, we had underrun a few quantities in the original contract and we had a list brought to the council and said, hey, these are alternates. If we finish what's in this original list, and there's money left over in the contract to continue on, we've got a plan in place. We're gonna hit these 8 streets next or these 6 streets next. I think we, in another meeting, maybe when we finish up the plans and we get ready to bid, and, maybe come back to y'all and say, hey, here's an alternate list that if y'all would consider, we can move to at that time.
I think that's a good idea. That's why you're the professional, Michael. Thank you. You and Reed. Okay. Y'all good with that? I am. Yes.
Yep. I'm sorry.
I don't have any more questions.
I'm
Thank
good.
you, Michael. I'm excited. I think this has been a long time coming. I think the citizens are gonna be excited too to finally see some stuff going on. We're gonna have a lot of stuff going on next summer, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am. It's gonna be busy, and a lot of these are in city street and in neighborhoods, so they'll probably, a lot of them will see paving in the front door.
It's okay. We'll just tell them pardon our progress.
That's it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Michael. All right, so number 3, discussion that is necessary by Councilman Brewer to hire West Pressure Washing and pressure wash the Marble City Cemetery bridge pillars totaling $750 funding from Marble City Cemetery Fund.
I would like to ask the council if they would to approve some pressure washing over at Marble City Cemetery. As you know, that's in my district, and with me working at the funeral home, I spend a great deal of time over there. I think there's 8 brick pillars there that's just got overgrowth and mold and things that have kind of dirtied them up, and they need some attention. So this person is local, and I think they have spoken to the finance office and the city clerk to make sure they're on the up and up. So if we could approve this tonight, that would be very appreciative. And I think the funds will be coming from the Marble City Cemetery.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with it, especially since, they already have the money, and especially he's already talked to Alex in her office, and she's gonna make sure all the T's are crossed.
I would like to ask for something to be added to the next month's agenda. You know, we had the wooden Schaefer's roofing replaced by Reams Custom Homes. It's the two marquees as you drive into the cemetery. There's actually three of them. Well, it's time for those to be stained to help them have longer of life. So I'd like to have that on the next agenda to approve and talk about it if you don't mind.
So who would be responsible for, I guess, getting a quote and deciding who would do that? Who would be responsible for coordinating that?
I took care of that.
Okay. So there's not like
It meets the threshold, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and plus he's the one that put the Schaefer's on for us.
okay, all right. So Alex, you got that, written down to add to the,
Yes, ma'am, I do.
all right. Y'all have any questions on that?
No question.
Are y'all discussing?
Thank you, guys. I'm
Right.
sure the residents will enjoy it.
Thank you, Councilman Brewer. All right, next, number 4, discussion that is necessary by Jane Crawford regarding the budget, public health and safety, and nuisance and abatement. Hey, Miss Jane, how are you tonight?
Thank you for your time. I recently had the opportunity to review a list that's in process. Can you hear me?
Just get a little closer, it's more out.
Hello?
There you go.
I recently had the opportunity to review a list that's been in process since 2021 in terms of dealing with abandoned and properties, personal properties that are a nuisance and public health safety issue, several of which have burned down recently. I live in District 2, and in District 2 on this list, which is not current, oops. I get nervous behind me.
It's okay, it's just us, Miss Jane.
So in District 2, where I live, there are, on this list, which is not updated, there's a total of 68 properties to be, that need attention from this $150,000 fund. And of those in District 2, 25, or over 37%, are in the Buttermilk Hill area, which is allocated between 3rd Street, Main Street, 6th, and Hubbard. So it's just a 4.5 block area. And of those in District 2, so that's 40% of the houses in Buttermilk Hill that are abandoned and in need of addressment. So I just want to advocate for how we're going to allocate the funds, this $150,000. We've got a whole city to take care of. We've got 68 properties, plus the list needs to be updated. And so I want to know how those funds are going to be allocated. Is it going to be by percentage of what is necessary work to be done in each district? Or is it going to be on a list, first come, first serve?
I got, Josh is here, he handles out, this is an abatement. Josh, would you mind coming up so you could,
Great.
help give us some information on how this will be prioritized and how the funds will be allocated based on the list that we have at hand, as well as see, is there some things not on the list, Ms. Jane?
Yeah. Well, I don't know all of them. I just know the ones in my.
And then I can tell you, because Ms. Glenda is here as well. She's one of our representatives for the nuisance and abatement for District 2, and she can let us know how to get them on the list.
Great.
Okay.
Infringe on your paper. So when it comes down to the process, that the list that you have is something that was currently, the list that you have is the one that I had pretty much adopted when I got into this assignment. And so some of those cases out of the 68 have been cleared, because that list is a little bit old. I received that list about 5 months ago. So when I first got here, I started working through that list to see what had already been done, and then laying eyes on each and every property so I would know what the status was. So since that occurred, I've had to do a lot of research on the procedures that we take to declare a property a nuisance, and the procedure to successfully recoup the finances that we do put into these properties. And I actually have a updated list. I've been working with Mr. Brian Cash. I believe everyone is familiar with him, some of the things that he's done up in Centerpoint. And out of that review, the steps that I've been going through have basically turned from around 14, 15 steps to 32 steps. So based off of lawsuits where municipalities have gotten in trouble because of some due process issues, we definitely don't want to find ourselves in that same scenario.
Yeah.
So with that, some of those updates, none of the process is quick whatsoever, but I'm going to give you this copy. I'm going to distribute this to the council.
And can we get an updated list like Josh, like once a quarter? Because I know, since you've been in place, other citizens, they've just been singing your praises, and I think that this is an abatement board, they're excited to have you because we've been finally making some headway. So do you mind just giving us an updated list, maybe every quarter?
And do it now.
Well, see.
You can count this as the third quarter or fourth quarter.
I know it, so we'll just, first quarter. Is that first quarter, third quarter? First quarter.
First of all,
October budget year quarter.
I mean, I'm thrilled you're here in the position, and we're just looking to work with you.
Absolutely.
And part of that is definitely public safety, because the abandoned and the falling down buildings are where we have a lot of inappropriate activity.
Understood.
And so it's to help with the safety issue.
So you've got a copy of what I just gave Madam President, Council, and Mayor. Clerk. Right now, I have a total of 14 cases. A majority of those are actually in the area that you mentioned, because they are in some of the most disrepair. I look at this list as step one. So you'll see if it's in white, which is the bottom one, Piney Acres, that address is considered an open case. I only wrote it down on this list. Nothing has happened with it. Sorry to go with my color scheme, but I do have a color scheme for everything. So if it is in yellow, step two is to take the file and give it to the building department for them to do an inspection related to if it's a dangerous building. I'm not in the building department, so thus the building inspector will handle that. If it's green, the building department has inspected that property, returned the file to me, and my next step is to take that file to our city attorney, Mr. Livingston, who will then do a title search. That is more important than anything that I ever realized, because if I don't know who actually is associated with the property, then I'm not contacting the right people. So that is one of the main steps to then go from the title search being completed, and that's actually when nuisance and abatement board gets involved with the communication of this is what I've got, and they will then agree with, what I'm doing, or say they don't want to pursue this, and then that's when we start going through the legal process with probate court, and then ultimately it will get to council. So that's a very lengthy process, but I wanted to make sure that not only you, but the council knows that that's how I'm moving forward at this time. You'll see right there that under number 14, I'm ready for any properties that you want to throw my way, just understanding that these steps, I'm trying to do a pretty good chunk of them all at one time.
But not us though, not us throwing them to you because.
No, just that they're open.
Yeah, but we have a process though. That's why we have the nuisance and abatement board. So each district has 2 members, and we want them to report it to them so that they can, get pictures, write it up, and then, report it at the meeting.
Right.
So that way everything is documented and we can follow the process, so we make sure we don't miss anything.
And I appreciate the process, and I'm glad we're being thorough. I just am looking to see how the decision to allocate the funds is going to be made.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, these are, so how is this? So is this number one, is that what?
Go ahead.
is number one at the top of the list? Is this list prioritized, or is it just based off where we are?
I didn't do a priority, I just listed a major trouble area, and they're all in step 1 or 2, all together.
So based on whenever it comes, comes out, once we declare it a nuisance and it's ready to be abated, that's how the money is allocated?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, obviously, too, the problem is that $150,000 is not gonna do much. It's not
That's right.
gonna take care of 64, 60, 50, 25, or 10 homes.
And actually, for clarification on the budget, this year I actually got, 300,000.
300,000. Good news.
Yes.
Good news.
Last year's was around the 150 area.
Okay.
So,
I appreciate that it's going to be a long process,
correct.
and we just need to know how we can plug in and support you with that.
When it comes down to speaking with the nuisance abatement board and providing information, that's,
Okay.
and you'll see that the majority of these are the ones that we were looking at.
And then will we as a community have say in prioritizing which properties are then finally cleared for action?
Miss Laura, the way we've been doing it, Miss Glenda and Miss Lisa, they prioritize the district. So the only thing we can prioritize is for our district, like, Lee, who's yours? I think it's, yeah. So each members prioritize their own district, like, so his members can't come prioritize our district.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But when you took all the districts together and you take a limited budget, would it be a portion based on percentages?
We usually do, which, they have the list, and after they get through the process, once you get on the, list for demolition, then that's when we start spending the money, and he does that. He's the one that sets that and brings that to us. We vote on it, we have to have public hearings, we have to do everything.
But what she's asking is, how are we gonna decide who gets what? It's just based on when it comes out of the last step. So whatever comes out of the last step, then we move it on so that we can go ahead and get it abated. So it's just really based on how long it takes to do all this
That's
stuff.
right. Whichever property may pop up first.
Okay.
And just to add, the asbestos studies and things like that related to the houses that I'm working on now, just, 4 houses was about 125,000. So,
We have 3 houses that are 2 blocks from me, and I just left that open.
right, so just saying that depending on the level of issues with the house, the money does go quickly, so,
And that's my concern, given the scope of this.
But we did tell Josh in the budget meeting, once he spends this, then come back and we can see, if there's some more monies that that can be allocated, because we do understand how serious this is and how it has become a problem. I think we all have nuisances in our district, so it is a high level of importance to all of us. So we did, I think, double the budget this time, so once he's able to deplete that, he is gonna come back and say, hey, these things are ready, like, what can we do? Do we have any money for this?
And I'm really focused on Buttermilk Hill because we'd like to decrease the criminal activity that these abandoned properties promote.
And we also have a cleanup,
This coming Saturday.
yes, this coming Saturday.
So I'd like to thank everybody. Saturday morning, we're doing a neighborhood cleanup.
Can you come to the microphone, Ms. Lisa?
Saturday morning, we're doing a neighborhood cleanup, and I will be bringing lots of donuts.
Yeah, so it'll be in the Buttermilk Hill area, this long Main, and so
We're
on and so
going to
forth.
meet at New Beginnings Church and start and fan out as different groups on the different blocks.
7:30, tell the time, please.
Oh, from 7:30 in the morning until 9:30?
And thank you so much. And Ms. Linda, make sure you invite Ms. Lisa to the next, this is an abatement,
I did, but her husband has surgery today.
okay.
And that's the reason she's not here, but we have written up reports over in that area.
I keep calling her Miss Lisa. I'm sorry, Miss Jane, I've been calling you Miss Lisa this whole time, and you didn't correct me, I'm sorry. Make sure you invite Miss Jane. That's what Lisa's talking about. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. And thank you, Josh.
yes, ma'am.
All right. And we may want to remind everybody when that meeting is, because it is a public meeting. When is the Nuisance Abatement Board meeting?
We're going to meet on the 21st of this.
So it'll be the 21st of this month, what time?
5:30.
5:30, and you guys meet upstairs?
Yes.
Okay, upstairs in the mayor's conference room. All right, so number 5, discussion that is necessary by Chief Osgood, Fire Department regarding purchase of 2024 F-250 from Sirius Ford State Contract pricing totaling $63,036. This does not include outfitting, lighting, and graphics. The 2003 Crimson 104 area reimbursement phase 2 totaling $80,000 and replacement for all 4 truck bay doors, track motors, and I'm sorry, my eyes are burning, I can't see anything. Ancillary equipment at Fire Station 1 totaling $42,430. Funding from Capital Improvement Reserve Fund. And this is just the stuff that we've already, just like with the police cars, we've already approved it. We're just making you guys come back so we can get the dollar amount correct.
Exactly. Same thing as, I think, several other items on the agenda tonight.
What about your striping though? Like it doesn't, we took the striping out. What happened with the striping?
So there's, y'all approved more than that 63, so I still have some money. I just didn't have the quotes together yet for last night, but we need to grab the truck while it's still there. Same thing as with PD, the 24 models are going away. So if we don't snag it quick,
I've got 2 questions. Number 1, are you gonna have enough money left over to stripe?
Yes.
So the money you've got left, you shouldn't have to ask for anymore, you should take care of it. Right. Why is it an F-250? I should have asked this during the capital budget when we was budgeting.
Right.
But I've been to a couple of different fire departments over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they're in F-150s.
So potentially, as we get onto this fleet replacement cycle that we're really close to being on top of again finally, potentially this eventually rolls to become a new brush truck for us. Because our current brush truck is a 1994 F-250. And so it needs to be able to hold the weight of the skid unit in the back with a water tank and a pump and equipment and that kind of stuff, and an F-150 won't support that. So that's the primary reason for sticking with the 250s, because as they roll down in usage, they'll end up potentially in that spot where they, where they're gonna have to haul some weight. We also do have an enclosed trailer, that has some mass casualty, related stuff in there, and potentially looking at purposing it for, hazardous materials responses, that kind of stuff in the future. So just things that we can hook up and all that kind of stuff around. Have a significant, payload in the vehicle.
Well, I do appreciate you, Nate. I guess you said I'm learning Tiffany, so we didn't want to include those graphics since we didn't have a quote for them. So we're going to leave those out. Ms. Orr, did you forget to say something?
Yeah, I do have a question on that. So this vehicle is going to stay in the city. It's not going to be used for commuting purposes or anything like that. It's just a city vehicle.
Yes.
That will be used for brush fire as well as trails.
Yes, because with the firemen, essentially they're different from the police, so they technically live at their, at the location, right? They live at the headquarters. So there's no need for them to take cars home, right? Because they essentially live there.
Right.
They're just gonna be at the fire station.
I'm sorry, where will you put this one at? Will this one go to Station 2 and this one that you've got here stay at Station 2? I mean, Station 1? Or are you swapping?
No, this one's not going anywhere yet. This is that, again, when we start talking about our light duty vehicles, we had, when I came in, we were in that position where we had an 05 and a 95 and a 94 and the old Crown Vic hand-me-downs from PD. We didn't have any newer, decent, vehicles that could handle what we were looking at doing with them. So this is kind of stopgapping to get us onto that cycle to make sure that we've got vehicles that can support whatever it is that we need them to do.
And you're not asking for 10 vehicles in one budget cycle?
No, this is, so the goal of all of this is to get us into a point where we can start getting one every 3 years.
Yeah, I was being funny, Nate.
Right. So that's the goal, is to get us onto a cycle where we're asking for one every 3 years, and then as long as we stick with the system, then we roll it down in-house from, highest use to second highest use to third highest use to fourth highest use, and in the end, we end up getting 24 years of lifespan out of each vehicle that we purchase.
I got you.
Okay, any more questions?
Random question. Was there a problem, and has it been resolved with something about the foundation or the leveling or something and outside the station?
Yes, so we did that last year, I believe.
So that's all.
Well, that's a mid-goal kind of repair or fix for that.
Did you pump something under it?
It had a 5-year, no movement warranty with that project. So for at least 5 years, we should be good, but there are the reason it was a problem in the first place is because there are underlying drainage issues under the pad. But that's going to be an issue for the future,
But none of this heavy work of replacing bay doors and tracks and motors and stuff is going to disturb that index, okay.
And this is everything too, like all the station 1, station 2 upgrades, all the stuff that we've been talking about, everything's gonna be taken care of.
Everything will be taken care of this year.
This year.
But that's not all in what's on this side.
Alright. Do y'all have any more questions about, all the capital improvement things that were approved for the, fire department?
No, we've done voted on the money just like we did with the police cars, police trucks.
Yeah, so it's exciting. I'm just glad we were in the position to get all these things taken care of for all of our first responders. All right, so number 6, discussion that is necessary by Ed Ford, shop superintendent, regarding ECO dual gas AC service station from Hoffman totaling $9,640.59 and repair.
I don't think we went over the other 2 items, did we?
What other 2 items?
You had 3 items on item number 5 for discussion, we only talked about 1, I just want to make sure we're good.
We don't need to discuss it. We already approved it. This is the capital stuff, yeah. So everything that we have already approved in capital, we just made you guys come back just so we can make sure the math is mathing. So there's no sense in discussing it. We've already decided. We're good? All right, I'm gonna start over number 6, y'all. Discussion that is necessary by Ed Ford, shop superintendent, regarding ECO dual gas AC service station from Hoffman totaling $9,640.59 and repair of diagnostic scanner totaling $7,741.77. Installation of rolling doors totaling $8,761. Funding from capital improvement reserve. Again, this is another collective source of items that came from capital that we already approved, and we're just making you guys come back so that the math is mathing. Unless y'all just want to grill Ed about, see if he really needs.
I know this, I don't know if he needs a scanner or not, but I know he needs a bay door in a bad way.
Alright, so again, this is a good time. Alright, so number 7, discussion that is necessary by Amber Jones, municipal court clerk, to reimburse overpayment to Jason Alexander Pickett, case number MC 22-000877, totaling $15, and to reimburse overpayment to Tiffany Breedlove, case MC 20-00000773, totaling $213. And this is just something we've already done before, nothing special, right, Amber, just an overpayment? Did you have anything to add to it? Okay, all right. So number 8, discussion that is necessary by Noah Driggs, Wharf Casual Seafood, regarding pre-approval for 020 Restaurant Retail Liquor License located at 40690 Highway 280, Sylacauga, Alabama 35150. Hey, Mr. Griggs, how are you today?
Doing well. I don't know about the microphone, but I'm doing well. Good to see you, Mr. Mayor and council members. I appreciate you giving us a chance to chat. So historically, we found ourselves prepared to actually open, and then depending on protocols, there's steps you go through to get your beer, wine, liquor license. And tonight, we're asking you to take an approach that we took in Moody. It's the first time we've ever opened a restaurant and been able to serve beer, alcohol, liquor, the day of opening. And so I think the best way to say this is there's protocols that we have to meet for you, for the state, for ABC. We're not looking to change anything, but we took a route there that helped us tremendously, and we want to be able to serve completely and give everybody a great experience. So what we're really asking for is for your pre-approval, and the key word is pre-approval pending all protocols are met. I think the easy way maybe to say this, certain municipalities, 2 weeks notice in the paper. You go to vote, and I may miss you by 23 days, and it's another month before we get an approval from you. So we want to follow all protocols from ABC. We worked with them directly last time, and in doing so, we simply ask that you go ahead and vote to approve us having the permission to serve these products. And with your pre-approval, pending we do all things appropriate and necessary, meaning certificate of occupancy, health permit, photos, if there's a notice to go in the paper for 2 weeks or any such thing like that, the key is to get this pre-approved, and in doing so in Moody, we literally got our health department, and in 2 days later, ABC was sitting on go. We had all the documents ready and prepared, and we literally got the license in 2 days. We opened up. I don't mind saying this. We may talk in a closed forum, but we opened up first time, and we were able to fully serve, and it paid off tremendously in sales and revenue and guest satisfaction. So I do have, if you didn't receive it, I've got a copy of the letter that I sent. If you'd like a copy to hold on to or review, I've got that as well.
But the key is that you're just not waiting on us to do something after it's been approved. We're approving it, so when it is approved, it's already approved.
That's it. That's all it is. You're gonna, and it just moves so quickly. And again, we'll follow you'll see that we do, but we'll make sure we have to. ABC's pretty strict. We're gonna have every protocol in place. It's just getting it done beforehand, and it's a rubber stamp that says you're approved pending everything gets done correctly.
I've got 2 questions. Number one, how close are you right now from having everything where you need it to be?
We're getting real close. We made a lot of progress. Unfortunately, and I'm gonna say this, we should have communicated sooner.
Yeah.
I reached out to the mayor, and law enforcement got involved to help us. We've been broken into 4 times. It set us back a little bit, but we've got cameras on site now. We've got surveillance. We've got a lot of support. So it's.
Well, you had a little downtime in between some months too. There was some time that construction pulled off.
Right. We went to Moody and got that restaurant open.
Yeah.
You may recall it was we had so much site work to do, and we literally had a swamp for 8 months. We could not do work. You know, normally it rains. 3 days later, it dries out in Alabama, you start doing dirt work. Well, all of the water coming off of 280 was dumped onto our property. So we bought it, we didn't know that. So we would go for months without being able to do work. So that shifted us to Moody, where we bought a Ruby Tuesday location, converted it, we opened 9 weeks ago. So we went from Moody all in to this one, and it's really coming along nicely. All the hoods are up, walk-in freezer cooler goes in this week. Ceiling tiles are in. Landscape will go in this Friday and Saturday. Parking lot will be, asphalt will be laid, striped. That'll be 24th, 25th of this month. So it's moving quickly. We've made a lot of progress. And so, and I can talk further about some more details, but it's coming along. It's starting to look really nice.
Still shooting for December?
December, I'm going to ask for a little bit of flexibility, and those 2 biggest reasons. I'll throw it out there, but I'm going to ask you to give us some grace and give us to the end of January, and I'll tell you just a few bullet points. We have a few setbacks because of some loss of supplies and products. We're going to get this building just in time to where it scares me that we'll push hard to find talent, get them trained, get them hired, and open this restaurant the way you want it to be open. We all know this. It's the holidays. Nobody's looking for a job. Nobody wants to get trained the day before Christmas, right, or the week of New Year's. So we're going to ask for some grace there to push out just a little bit, which will do nothing but get us ready to give you a great restaurant.
I got one more question and I'll be done. I know this is not common practice, but are we okay with doing this? Because here's what we're gonna do. We do it for Mr. Ward. Well, we may have to do it later down the road for somebody else. And if Wynn's good, then I'm good. I definitely will hit you out and do the best we can.
Can we wait to executive session to discuss that?
To discuss if I can give him lead way to the alcohol license?
There's some, no.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
chance to talk to Mr. Briggs and understand the process, and then I will be able to say whether we get into that or not.
Okay, so just like this,
If I can get this to you.
Absolutely, I'll come see you whenever it's appropriate.
All right, thank
but isn't this on here to be voted on? This is on here to be voted on, tonight, so, yeah.
Yeah, and when basically it's not circumventing the process, it's simply, once ABC approves, there is already pre-approval.
That's really all it is. ABC has to approve us. We have to be completely in line and compliant. All we're asking you to do as the city council is to go ahead and approve us tonight, pending those things are done appropriately. We got no way around it. We'll get it done and do it the right way.
Yeah, so we can't override ABC.
I just want to make sure we're in our lane, doing our part, so I'm good.
Any more questions on this? All right, well, thank you, Mr.
Good, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, number 9, discussion that is necessary by Chief Rondell Muse Police Department regarding request from the Brown Bag for an off-premises only retail beer and wine license located at 1194 Talladega Highway. Chief?
All procedures have been met, they're good to go.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions on this one, guys? All right, number 10, discussion that is necessary by Chief Rondell Muse Police Department requesting approval for streetlights located on Brickyard Road and South Norton that has been evaluated by Police Department totaling $11 each per month.
Showing those lights evaluated by our V-Lights commander, it is necessary to help facilitate safety. The price is $11 a month, which will be $132 a year, $264 for both. I'll need those funds added to my street lighting Geo line, not my traffic and maintenance.
Because I think you had some money last time and we decided to wait to get a total and put it back in your, okay. In your,
Chief,
y'all remember that? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Chief, are you saying this is a safety issue?
I am.
Okay. Because like I know, once we approve this, then, we get a lot of calls about street lights.
But they still have to, be the ones to determine, that's just like.
I understand. I'm not saying not do it. I'm just saying it could
Open
Pandora's box. Yeah, Pandora's box is just to be open.
I understand that too.
I know it, but I mean, sometimes you still gotta tell people that it's up to the police department's discretion,
I agree.
All right, so any more questions on this one? I'm going to number 11. Discussion that is necessary by Alexandria Lambert, City Clerk Treasurer, to amend the waste collection and disposal services contract with Green Life Contract Environmental to authorize the addition of an extra collection day for the Autumn Trace apartment complex. And Alex, you've already talked to both parties and they have agreed to this, right?
Yes, we have it in writing from both parties with an effective date of 1 November.
And they're going to pay for this increase too, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right. Any questions on this, guys? Discussion that is necessary by Alexandria Lambert, City Clerk Treasurer, regarding purchase of 16 Dell computers to replace outdated ones totaling $27,251.52. Includes computers, $20,211.52, and labor, $7,040, funding for capital improvement reserve fund. Again, another thing that was improved on the capital budget, and we're just crossing our T's and dotting our I's, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Number 13, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert regarding administrative and finance furniture purchase totaling $25,000, funding from capital improvement reserve fund. Again, this is another capital item that has already been pre-approved, and we're just making sure that the amounts that we approved are the same that you guys are paying. Number 14, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert to declare various computer equipment and software from city inventory as surplus property and authorize disposal on glovedeals.com, online auction, or other appropriate means.
I have a question back on number 13.
Okay?
Why is the desk $25,000?
Alex, I think.
I need a big wraparound.
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna redo, because we need to get another desk in there. We have bodies and not enough desks, so we have somebody actually sitting at a table right now.
Mhm.
That's the trainer and the supervisor for those up front. So we need to replace the 2 desks because we also have an individual that using a desk that has to have a combination of kicking, punching, whatever, to actually open the drawers, and the council members, some of them have seen it and tried and can't get in the
Yeah,
desk.
it's bad.
Okay.
But this money's already.
Cheaper option though than 25,000 for that?
But this stuff too, now, remember, we already discussed this, this was a part of the capital. I don't think we're going to change the prices on anything that was already pre-approved. We just made them come back to make sure that what we're approved is the price that they're paying. Because if we go back and do this for her, then we can go back and ask questions on everything else that we all had already pre-approved. And I think this is a good thing, guys. We should be excited and we should really be proud of ourselves. Not only were we able to approve our almost entire capital list, we planned for all this stuff. Like, we worked really hard this time. We had money turned in at the last budget cycle. We put money in places to where we've been able to do things that we haven't been able to do before. And we have to make sure we take care of these departments. I'm telling you, probably the biggest thing that I'm excited about is that new fire truck. I mean, we're gonna pay cash for it. Like, that's one of the most exciting things ever. So I think this is a big deal. It's exciting. We all work hard for it and we plan for it. And we still got money left over in capital.
Yeah, we're gonna approve this, I'm good.
All right. So, all right, number 14, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandra Lambert to declare various computers, did I already read that? Various computer and software from city inventory as surplus property and authorize disposal on govdeals.com, online auction, or other appropriate means. What I should have been asking is when y'all getting all this stuff. That's what we should have been asking, when is delivery day? Nobody asked that. So hopefully y'all can keep us updated on when all these things come in. All right, is there anything else that we want to talk about in the work session before we go into the council meeting? Anybody else?
I don't have it.
All right.
When's your police trucks gonna be striped? We waiting on them?
I have 2 right now in Alabaster getting lights put in. The other 4 are sitting out there waiting on the graphics to come in. And it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get the lights.
That's right.
So as soon as I can get them on the roof, I can't wait to show them off.
Well, you should be proud. There's a lot of people who's proud of it.
Well, there's a lot of hating on it too.
But also too, we're supposed to get all the vans are supposed to be here. Is it Friday?
Yes, we sent the
For safe?
insurance to East Alabama today to pick them up Friday.
And also too, just to piggyback on what Nate said, with the police cars and, with us getting all the equipment for the fire department, guys, we need to think back, like, we've been in a position to where it's been really hard to hire first responders in Sylacauga, in the United States, period. And to me, just personally, I feel that one of those reasons is because we didn't have any skin in the game. Now with the new police cars, we got all these things happening in the fire department. And also, these are our first responders. These are people that have to show up when we call them in emergencies. Like, we don't want them breaking down when it's time for them to show up to see about us or, when our families are in trouble. So I'm really excited. I think we worked really hard on that budget. I think we planned really well, and now we're able to compete. Like, we actually got some skin in the game. Like, we're Sylacauga, and I'm really proud of it. Like, I'm really proud. And
it didn't break the budget.
It didn't, and it's nice to see all of the nice things that are outside that are gonna be utilized for our citizens. So the county got all that nice stuff. You got all these nice cities. They have this and that, but people look at us like a small town. But we finally have some skin in the game, and we should be proud. Hopefully you're proud, Mayor. You can say anything. All right.
Very well, let's keep moving.
All right, so I think that's it on our work session. So we'll go ahead and get into the council meeting. Probably one of the shortest work sessions we've had in a while. And thank you guys, and thank you department heads for sitting up front. We do want to make sure you guys are recognized if you want to be recognized. I know sometimes we don't get a chance to add things to the agenda, or you do want to say something and just have input. So we want the tables to be set up like this to make sure we don't miss anybody.